Hey everybody, welcome back to Praise the Beat. This one's special. I'm really excited about this one. It is been around for a while. I don't think I've heard the song in over a year, but it is more relevant today than when it came out. Whatever it was, a year or two ago. And it's going to be a long video. It's called God's Eyes by Dax. Now, Dax is not someone I've covered on the channel before. He's also not someone I listen to a lot. But there are a few of his songs that have really touched me spiritually, and this is one of them. In fact, I think this is one of the most impactful songs that I have on my playlist in Spotify. It is it touches on all the things that's wrong with the world today, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy breaking down each of the bars. Now, it's a lot. This will probably be my longest video, and I know only a very small fraction of you make it to the end. If you're going to listen to any one of my breakdowns, I think this is the one. There's just so much in here that is directly relatable to life now. It would mean the world to me if you stick around as long as you can. I understand there's lots of things competing for your time and energy, but I promise you, really breaking the bars down in this song will push you forward on that spiritual journey, much like it has done for me. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just get into it. Starts out with a Bible verse here, Timothy 3:1 through 5. Basically talking about people being lovers of pleasure instead of the Lord, and that's basically the whole theme of this song.
I never seen God's eyes, but I seen the devil's. He walks with man on earth at different levels. He knows the king we serve, so he hates and meddles and prays that we all burn and turn to rebels. He tried to get my soul, but I'll never settle. I walk this lonely road from the burbs to ghettos. I'll take the gift bestowed and return a vessel. I am the one they chose. Rebellious in all ways, been sinner since birth. He knew that it would happen when he put us on this earth. We demonize religion, brought corruption to the church. We know the price of everything, but we don't know the worth. We spend all of our time idolizing false prophets. Comparison's the enemy, stop watching others' pockets. The social system's broken, we divide on every topic. They fabricate the truth and we all monetize the gossip. We know the problems and we see them but don't want to change. We're desensitized to every issue cause they let us profit off of people's pain. In this dystopian age, we are the game that he plays. And all the evil, deceitful people should shake our faith. I never seen God's eyes.
All right, we're going to pause it there. So that was actually the verse, and then, verse or bridge, and then the chorus and or bridge, and then the first verse. I'm not even going to get to everything in this song, but there's so much that I want to break down. So let's just go ahead and kind of circle back here. And I'm not going to read all this out again. This can be a long video, but essentially, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God.
I never seen God's eyes, but I seen the devil's. He walks with man on earth at different levels. He knows the king we serve, so he hates and meddles and prays that we all burn and turn to rebels.
All right, so just even there, it starts fast. I've never seen God's eyes, but I've seen the devil's. He walks with men on earth at different levels. Ephesians 6:12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. So this is basically saying that we're not fighting against our neighbor or the people on social media or anything else that we feel like is attacking our spirituality, but in fact that the devil has inherited them as a vessel for his work. And the different levels may imply different levels of economic statuses, could be race, but it also could be maybe not flesh and blood or humans, but rather institutions, cultures, and different things that are attacking our spirituality. And so I think that's a really elegant and cool way to say it. Satan doesn't always show up with horns and pitchforks, but he's sometimes working through different things like ideologies, fears, distraction, and all sorts of things. So, really impactful lines there, I think. It's such a good way to start this song.
Serve, so he hates and meddles and prays that we all burn and turn to rebels. He tried to get my soul, but I'll never settle. I walk this lonely road from the burbs to ghettos. I'll take the gift bestowed and return a vessel. I am the one they chose.
So here, it seems like Dax is kind of saying like he's felt called to be the vessel for us, right? So he's going to take this truth and try to present it to us. And I think he's done that in a really good way. I think there's like 30 million views on this video alone, not to mention all the streams on other platforms. And so I'm sure many other people like me have been touched by this song. He also says, he tried to take my soul, but I'll never settle. And in Mark 8:36, it asks us, what good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? So basically, you can get all the money, all the fame, all the pleasures that you could ever want in life. But what good is it if you gave up your soul? And Dax is saying that he tried to get his soul, probably, I assume, through music, right? We all know the music industry is corrupt and can spread a bunch of hate and bad influence in the world. And so he's probably talking directly about that, but I'm sure in other ways, he wasn't willing to settle his soul for the world because he knew that if he gave up his soul, all the other stuff that came along with it would be worthless.
Return a vessel. I am the one they chose. Rebellious in all ways, been sinner since birth. He knew that it would happen when he put us on this earth. We demonize religion, brought corruption to the church. We know the price of everything, but we don't know the worth. We spend all of our time.
I mean, he's preaching now. Every single line in this has an underlying meaning, but I want to focus on the last one there. We know the price of everything, but we don't know the worth. Like, we know what things cost in US dollars or whatever our currency is, but what something's worth spiritually and emotionally is completely different than the price that you pay. In Isaiah 55:2, why spend money on what is not bread and your labor on what does not satisfy? Now, I would argue people spend money and labor on things that satisfy, but they're very superficial, temporary satisfaction. And I think what Isaiah 55:2 here is saying is that it does not satisfy your soul or your spiritual journey. And then again in Revelation 3:17, you say, I am rich, I have acquired wealth, and do not need a thing. But you do not realize that you are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. This is again just showing that like we value the wrong things in society now. We want the fancy cars, the fancy clothes. We want to go to the $2,000 concerts and go on the $5,000 vacations, but none of that actually means anything in the grand scheme of things. And until we find our true worth internally, we are confused and we are mistaken. And that's exactly what these two verses are saying, and that's exactly what Dax is saying in these bars. I mean, this is just, it's a gold mine. I mean, you could listen to it 10 times.
Demonize religion, brought corruption to the church. We know the price of everything, but we don't know the worth. We spend all of our time idolizing false prophets. Comparison's the enemy. Stop watching others' pockets. The social system's broken. We divide on every topic. They fabricate the truth, and we all monetize the gossip. We know the
Okay, I'm not even going to talk about, the comparisons, the enemy. He's talking about comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy, I believe is how it's really said. And he tells you to stop watching other people's pockets. But he also talks about idolizing false prophets. And I think that's one of the biggest problems we have in today's society. In Matthew 7:15, watch out for false prophets. They come in your sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. And then also in 2 Timothy 4:3, for the time will come when people will not put up with sound doctrine. They will gather around them a great number of teachers to say what their itching ears want to hear. So this is two things, right? So Matthew 7:15, watch out for false prophets, is putting the onus on the false prophets. These are people online, could be in media, could be in spiritual and Christian circles. These false prophets are pushing their message at the sake of God's message and what's really important. But what I really like about 2 Timothy 4:3, it actually puts the onus back on us, and I need to listen to this because I think I'm rather close-minded. I don't think that I monitor my blind spots enough. And so when it talks about there will come a time when people surround themselves with a great number of teachers to say what their itching ears want to hear, we surround ourselves with people that are saying what we want to hear, what we believe, rather than listening to the truth, and which possibly could compromise our own reality and our own belief system. And I think for anyone to make it in this world and to be truly happy, in Proverbs 14:30, a heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. Going back to comparisons, the enemy of joy. I think we need to be willing to test our own beliefs and grow. Because if we can't test our own beliefs and where we are spiritually, then we will never grow. If you never go to the gym and break down your muscle fibers, you're never going to grow a muscle. You're just going to stay the same and you'll never grow. And so one of the most impactful 4 lines in the song, I'm like speechless. I haven't, again, I think I've heard the song one time in the last 12 months, but I'm remembering how impactful it is and how much it speaks to me spiritually.
The social system's broken, we divide on every topic. They fabricate the truth and we all monetize the gossip. We know the problems and we see them but don't want to change. We're desensitized to every issue because they let us profit off of people's pain. In this dystopian age, we are the game that he plays. And all the evil, deceitful people should shake our faith.
Wow. Okay, so he talks about we know the problems and we see them, but we don't want to change. So there was a letter written by James, the brother of Jesus, who was a leader in one of the first churches in Jerusalem. And in James 1:22 through 24, do not merely listen to the word, do what it says. Anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like someone who looks at his face in a mirror and immediately forgets. Meaning you can look yourself in the mirror, and then as soon as you walk away, you forget what your own face looks like. And that's what he is comparing that to listening to the word of God, but not actually practicing it. And that's what Dax is saying in that very first line, saying that we know what the problems are, but we refuse to change them. And that he's hoping that this song is kind of a jumping off point for people to start to change. And I think the change he's asking us to do is to give more time to the truth and to the word and the good influences in our life, and try to avoid the bad ones, which are everywhere. They're not hard to find. In fact, they find you. It takes a lot more effort to find the good influences in your life and keep them there than it does to find the bad ones. There's just too much to gain from the devil and the Satan to find you with those bad messages. There's just too much to gain for him to do that he's going to find you no matter what. And then just thinking about, like, in a literal sense, looking in the mirror and then forgetting who you are as soon as you walk away. It's the same thing as reading the Bible or going to church and then just ignoring it for another 6 days until Sunday comes around.
We are the game that he plays, and all the evil, deceitful people should shake our faith. I never seen God's eyes, but I seen the devil's. He walks with man on earth at different levels. He knows the king we serve, so he hates and meddles and prays that we all burn and turn to rebels. He tried to get my soul, but I'll never settle. I walk this lonely road from the burbs to ghettos. I'll take the gift bestowed and return a vessel. I am the one they chose. Our God is an awesome artist. In perilous times we seek his grace as the world and the times we face turn fake in the face of the devil's mirages. In the midst of the pain, disdain, and the media's push of all this garbage, I pray that you keep your faith as the whole world breaks and the real get disregarded. It's about time that we take it back. The weight's too great for the camel's back. Strong men made life an easy task, and now the weak men feminize every act. In the church, in the workplace, every class. On the television screen, in the state of rap. All virtues gone and it's fade to black. We in hell on earth and it's gonna collapse. Integrity's lost, hedonism, we incentivize gods on the way the revolution will be televised. Gone too far to know if we can rectify. At those gates we will testify. So I'm saying it now for the counterclockwise. We are living in times where the wicked is all rise, the intelligent fall, while the stupid is all thrive, and the real get pushed aside. Yeah, I never seen.
He's snapping here at the end. I don't know if is that what the kids are saying. I'm not 40, but I'm on my way there, so I don't know if kids still say snap.
You try to get my soul, but I'll never settle. I walk this lonely road from the burbs to ghettos. I'll take the gift bestowed and return a vessel. I am the one they chose. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Our God is an awesome artist. In perilous times we seek His grace as the world and the times we face turn fake in the face of the devil's mirages. In the midst of the pain, disdain, and the media's push of all this garbage, I pray that you keep your faith as the whole world breaks and the real get disregarded.
All right, so he keeps going back to kind of the media and modern day messaging and like how that stuff finds us. But he also says, in perilous times, we seek His grace as the world. In times we face turn fake in the face of the devil's mirages. In 2 Corinthians 11:14, Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. And so what he's saying here is when we turn to God in the tough times, those times we see through the mirage. Think about being in a desert and you need water so badly that the devil's going to show you water when it's not really there. But if we turn to God, we actually see through all the fake the fake things in life and the mirages that Satan pushes forward. And then also Romans 2:12 or 12:2, I'm sorry. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And in the very last line here, Dax says, I pray that you keep your faith as the whole world breaks and the real get disregarded. And so, he's asking us not to conform to the pattern of peril and the spiraling of the world around us. And if we can do that by renewing our mind, we will be transformed. And sorry, guys, my son's downstairs from me with school, and so you might hear him playing his game, but it's important that I get through this. I kind of feel called to do it.
In the midst of the pain, disdain, and the media's push of all this garbage, I pray that you keep your faith as the whole world breaks and the real get disregarded. It's about time that we take it back. The weight's too great for the camel's back. Strong men made life an easy task, and now the weak men feminize every act. In the church, in the workplace, every class, on the television screen, in the state of rap, all virtues gone and it's faded black. We in hell on earth and it's gonna collapse. Integrity's lost, hedonism, we incentivize gods on the way the revolution.
I can't even anymore. This 8 bars is probably the most meaningful, in my opinion. And I want to start with him saying that it's about time we take it back. The weight is too great for the camel's back. So we're standing in a crossroads. And in Jeremiah 6:16, stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is and walk in it. And you will find rest for your souls. I really do feel like we are at a crossroads in society, and I'll expand on that here in a second. But this, to me, is one of the most profound things Dax probably has said in any of his songs. And he says, strong men made life an easy task, and now the weak men feminize every act. In the church, in the workplace, every class, on the television screen, and in the state of rap, all virtue's gone, and it fades to black. We're in a hell on earth, and it's going to collapse. This kind of builds off of like this cultural cycle. I forget who this is attributed to. This is not in the Bible. But there's a saying that goes, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. And then, we start back at the beginning. Hard times create strong men. So it's a full cycle. And that's what he's saying here, where he says, strong men made an easy life, I think he says. Strong men made life an easy task, and now the weak men feminize every act. And in Judges 2:10, I believe this was... there's a whole bunch of historical context here, but the verse goes, after the whole generation had been gathered to their ancestors, another generation grew up who knew neither the Lord nor what he had done for Israel. So I believe this is referring to a time where, the generation being referred to in this is the one who followed Joshua, who was a strong leader after Moses and led Israel into and through tough times, right? They saw the walls of Jericho fall, the Jordan River was parted, and God's provision and victory after victory during this time. So Israel's getting through tough times, and they get through it, they get through it, they get through it. The hard time created strong men. But once that generation died off, the generation behind them were able to benefit from all those hard times and all of the the times that they had persevered, but they didn't know those hard times themselves, and so Israel kind of fell into turmoil, much like we're seeing in the United States here today and even across the world, where things like disobedience, disaster, and desperation are everywhere around us because life has been so easy for us. We've been in such easy times that we've lost sight on the truth and what has really made us who we are, and that's exactly what Dax is saying. And here's why I think it's important. The easy times, I think, are over. I think we're heading into the hard times. And these hard times are going to create strong men. And then those strong men, and this is women too, strong people, are going to be the ones that get us through these hard times, which create the next round of good times. I hope it's in my lifetime, but if not, I want to become one of these strong men for my son and my daughter so that I can give them good times. But then I also need to teach them that even under good times, they need to be strong. So I know this is a lot of pressure and responsibility, but I believe we are the people that are meant to be strong to get us through the hard times that are already here and probably ahead of us. That's what Dax is saying here, and I 100% agree with him. I feel the responsibility to be spiritually strong, which will be able to lead us through these hard times. And I think if enough of us do this, we can get through it. And you're seeing a shift in culture and in society now where it's more hip and it's more cool to be, spiritual. And I think that's both a blessing and a curse. That means some people are going to use it for the wrong things. But I think if we can look inward within ourselves and use it for the right things, we're going to get ourselves through this together. And I want to do that with you guys, which is exactly why I've started this channel.
Church in the workplace, every class, on the television screen in the state of rap. All virtues gone and it's faded black. We in hell on earth and it's gonna collapse. Integrity's lost, hedonism, we incentivize gods on the way the revolution will be televised. Gone too far, don't know if we can rectify. At those gates we will testify. So I'm saying it now for they counteract clockwise. We are living in times where the wicked is all rise. The intelligent fall while the stupid is all thrive. And the real get pushed aside.
All right, I think this is the last bit that we need to break down. A couple of things. A nice little wordplay in there. Gone too far, don't know if we can rectify. At those gates we will testify. Then he goes on to saying, so I'm saying it now for they counter it clockwise. So counter being like a counterpoint to something, right? So he's saying this because he knows in time, clockwise, clock, time, in time they're going to try to counter what Dax is saying. So he's trying to be first. He's trying to say it now. But also counterclockwise is the opposite way. So he's being contrarian, counterclockwise. A clock is supposed to go around one way, but he's going the other way. So really clever wordplay there. But there's another thing in here. Isaiah 5:20. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness. So this is talking about people who know that darkness and evil is what do they say? If it's bleeding, it's leading, or there's something in the news cycle, right? Where if it's tragic, if it's bad, they're going to put it in the headlines. It's going to be on the front page. If it bleeds, it reads, or something like that, because they know that's what sells. But we need to realize what really is worth it, and we need to fight, against that. And then he talks about the intelligent fall while the stupidest all thrive, and the real get pushed aside. And it's deep, and I want to find the verse that I have. Yes, so Psalm 12:8. The wicked freely strut about when what is vile is honored by the human race. Because we basically reward this bad behavior, the wicked can freely strut about in society with no consequences. I'm not going to talk about anything specifically on this channel because I don't know what YouTube's guidelines are. And, of course, I also know that it can trigger some people. But there's a lot of people in positions of power in the past that have used it for bad things. And slowly you're starting to see the dominoes fall. They are being held accountable, maybe not to the level that we'd want them to, but I think that's what it is, right? So if we freely allow the wicked to walk around with no ramifications whatsoever, they're going to do that. And so we as a human race, we as a people need to hold those people accountable. And I think we can do that through the Lord and through our spiritual journeys. And so I think you're starting to see that. More and more things are coming to light. More and more people are being, held accountable. And I hope that that continues to snowball, because I do think it'll make a better society for all of us.
Counterclockwise, we are living in times where the wicked is all rise, the intelligent fall, while the stupid is all thrive, and the real get pushed aside. Yeah, I never seen God's eyes, but I seen the devil's. He walks with men on earth at different levels. He knows the king we serve, so he hates and meddles, and prays that we all burn and turn to rebels. He tried to get my soul, but I'll never settle. I walk this lonely road from the burbs to ghettos. I'll take the gift bestowed and return a vessel. I am the one they chose. Yeah.
What's it say there? Sixth sign, the spread of the gospel to the ends of the earth. I think that's what we're in. I think we're in the sixth stage. That's what Dax is saying. That's what I'm hoping. Guys, this has been my favorite review on the channel. I hope many people get to watch it. Some videos have tens of views and some don't. But I'm going to continue to do this because this is how I prefer to worship. I read the Bible some, but it doesn't speak to me as much as digging into music and celebrating our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ through music. That is what works for me, and so that's what I'll continue to do. So thank you so much for those of you that are watching. I really appreciate it. If there's a song that you'd like me to break down, please send it in the comments section. I've already taken a couple of different recommendations, and I hope there'll be many more to come. All right, thank you. God bless. Take care.